people aren't transacting houses. People aren't moving, and that they're not saying, I want to go and buy a house because they're like, I don't want to change my rate. Because if they still got a rate from 5 years ago, those are the good old days. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm going to have to go into a 6-7% rate, whatever the number is. Well, let's talk about sort of down in the States, because I think that's been the big topic, right? So
well, that's not good either.
The U.S. Fed dropping their policy rate down a quarter point, which to us, we're all like, great. This is fantastic. They're lowering rates. This should be a good thing.
Yeah.
But their forecast of what was previously next year having 4 more rate cuts is now down to 2, and all of a sudden the stock market dropped.
Forward guidance, TK. This
all of
is
a
the
sudden
most important
everybody's
thing.
concerned. They're worried about future tariffs with Trump and how that might affect the economy. Yeah, I like the red. That's good.
Forward
how that
guidance.
might affect how that might affect the economy. They're talking about interest rates on housing and stuff like that too haven't really changed much. They're at like a 7.75% peak, but now they're already like they're above 6 still. People
but that's
really
what's
moving.
crazy is
they're not transacting.
But they've been cutting rates, and they're up at they've gone from 6 something to 7 something with their 30-year terms.
No,
right?
down from 7 something to 6.
No,
so it did.
No.
Yeah, the peak was last year, which was 7.75, and then it came down to 6. It went up a little bit recently, but the peak was last year.
Back over 7.
Well,
since
whatever
they started cutting.
Yeah, whatever the numbers are, which is not that important.
But it's not
good. People aren't transacting houses. People aren't moving, and that they're not saying, I want to go and buy a house because they're like, I don't want to change my rate. Because if they still got a rate from 5 years ago, those are the good old days. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm going to have to go into a 6-7% rate, whatever the number is. Yeah. Right. And so that I mean, housing stimulation for the economy is not just north of the border, it's down there as well too. But like that's a major thing right now is the health of the US economy. The way I look at it, in my opinion, is if they're now talking about less rate cuts, they're not worried about inflation as much. Okay. They're not worried about I know there's a potential for rate hikes. They're not worried about their economy as much. They're not worried about unemployment. And like they say down in, like we have an expression, when the U.S. sneezes, the Canada catches a cold. So for me, like having a healthy U.S. economy is a good thing for us. The tariffs aren't good or anything like that.
But is it healthy? This is the thing.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Is that economy healthy?
Well, if it wasn't as healthy, then they would be saying, guys, we got big issues here. We're going to definitely cut those rates next year. They're right. That's why they cut rates, is to stimulate the economy. So the fact that they're saying, hey,
they did
instead
cut
of
rates.
4, they did. But what they're talking about is forward guidance for next year.
Yeah, but that's lies. That's bullshit.
Well, whatever it is,
true.
Whatever it is, right now they're saying to the public is that we think the economy is going to be doing it. And even Powell was saying, like, we've all been waiting every single year for this year of like travesties and devastation, but we had another year of growth, and so another year of growth, like. Again, because I think the market had already built in a lot of rate cuts, so everyone's all pumping the market and buying stocks and all that kind of stuff, and this is why
their housing market is a fraction of the economy compared to
No, I'm talking about like stock markets and stuff. But
their stock market's ripping, and then it just crashed with that news that they're
recently
the forward guidance news. It just crashed the stock market.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a bad thing, right? 10 days of Dow Jones declines, and it's like since 1974. The worst 10 days that they had.
Thank God that I didn't buy any stock. I think I've made it very clear. I don't own any stocks, right? I have real estate and I have GICs, and that's it. But I always want to buy stocks, right? And every time that I'm about to actually buy a stock,
because everyone else is buying at that time.
It's gonna crash.
That's like me and Bitcoin. That's like me and Bitcoin. No, I did a bunch of options on Tesla when Trump won. That was a good move. So I made a bunch of money from Tesla recently.
See, and I wanted to do that. And I've been watching Tesla for 5 or 6 years, right? Just like going, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I never do it. Yeah. And I should have done it. But I know as soon as I go in, and I go in like hard, that's when the stock.
Honestly, my opinion is my expertise is in real estate.
Are you dying to have the Canadian Real Estate Show merch?
Ho, ho, ho. I bet they are, Darryl. Guess what?
Ho, ho, ho.
Now they can buy it themselves. Go check out the merch store.
What a Christmas gift this would be. Make Canada great again, TK.
your significant other, think about them opening up on Christmas Day, a gift from the Canadian real estate show. You know, maybe they don't even know what that is,
Maybe
but
they don't.
imagine the look on their eyes of surprise.
Yeah.
Guys, for very reasonable rates that we make very little money on, check out the merch store and support the cause.